Welcome back to our year-end Stream of Thought, episode number 55. And before we begin, we just want to give a quick shout-out to one of our sponsors, SMT Architects, based out of Lombard, Illinois. We use their studio. You can find them at smt-architects.com. And also by The Drywall Doctor on YouTube, how-to channel for everything drywall related if you want to repair stuff. So check them out on YouTube. And with that, episode number 55, what do we talk about?
Well, we can pretty much start it off pretty quickly. I mean, we just do a recap on the highs and lows and everything that we thought of for this last year and kind of what we hope to see on the horizon of 2018.
Man, yeah, what was 2017 like for us and what will 2018 be like? So
that it will only unfold with time. So with that being said, episode number 55, Stream of Thought, we hope you enjoy.
Happy New Year's, man. About to welcome in 2018.
I already feel like I want to start 2018 today with how successful the morning was.
Dude, it was so enjoyable launching our Patreon. The Drywall Doctor is now like out there in the world.
Yeah.
It's birthed into the social media.
Bring people
realm.
up to speed real quick about what we're talking about. For
Yeah,
those that don't know.
so for the past year and a half, I've been managing a YouTube channel called The Drywall Doctor. And I came across Ray back in, late 2016. And we started working together. He's a really charismatic, entertaining person, and so I'm like, I'll do some videos for you. Me, and Neil were doing the VNR Media at that time, trying to do interview shows and Race to 100 and all these other like fun things. So I was integrated into this YouTube world, and I said, it's easy enough. You have a good product. Let me see if I can do something, put it out there. It took off like I could have never expected in 2017. It has just exploded. And, I mean, Victor's probably sick of me talking about it just because I feel like I talk about it all the time off air.
About it.
I mean, I don't really bring this up while we're talking on the podcast, but this is something I'm just, like, all the time is just very exciting to see its growth. And so today, we're, like, going into 2018. We have, the channel has over 3,000 subscribers now.
That's about 3,000 more than it had this time last year.
Which is, yeah, I mean,
2,950 more than last year.
Yeah, we have like 3,114 subscribers right now at this moment we're recording. And I think it was a year ago we had like 114 subscribers. So we've gained 3,000 this whole year. We haven't put out any advertising. We haven't done any promotional stuff. We just put out content. We try to get better every week. I try to get better with my editing. I mean, he's already got the perfect content, so it's just for me presenting it in a way. And now that we have like a healthy community of probably a good 500 to 1,000 people watch videos that are posted on a weekly basis, and we post 3 a week. And we thought, why not try and take it to the next level? And the best way to take it to the next level is what's called Patreon, which is a crowdfunding platform for people to donate as little as $1 a month to a endeavor or cause that they like to help independent creators ideally make a career or a job profession out of actually doing it. So that's what we did today. Went over, did a live stream for like a half an hour. Ray answered viewers' questions that have sort of been building up over the past couple of weeks. And then we announced that we're doing all the social media launch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, and Victor got a chance to come with.
Yeah,
and
that was pretty neat.
We're trying. I felt like a little bit like the Hunger Games. Like
it was good to be around Ray again because I hadn't seen him since
we interviewed him.
Since we interviewed him.
Oh, wow.
Almost a year ago.
Yeah. Wow, that was almost a year ago that you met him.
I only get to see his personality when I just happen to watch a couple of the videos here and there on YouTube, but then just to like see his antics, so to speak, and just like his demeanor and just personality kind of shine through. It was very fun for me again to see him in person.
Oh yeah, he's a character, man. He's a very enjoyable person to be around.
Yes,
and he is also just as excited about the potential for this channel too. So he's all on board. We just ordered t-shirts. That'll be great. We're getting 30 t-shirts. Our first wave of t-shirts coming in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, I have no idea. Obviously, it's not, it took us a year and a half to get to this point right now. So I would imagine it's going to take like another 6 months to continue to build it up. into something that can generate sustainable income for myself and Ray. So, because it's looking more and more possible. Like that could be something legit. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We don't have any Patreon supporters yet, but I'll keep you updated. We just launched it like a half an hour ago, so it's not like we were expecting everyone to just come over from YouTube and be like, "Oh, let me give you money."
Yeah.
Because even Ray himself is like, that's such a stupid thing. Like the idea that you'll just give money to random people who put out videos on the internet. Like, why would anyone do that? But it's the era we live in right now, man. It's empowering people who have good information to share. And people love supporting a good cause. Like, people love supporting quality information, entertaining characters. I mean, that's why Logan Paul got 3 million subscribers, or Jake Paul, or whoever that Paul dude is, got, 5 million subscribers?
No, 10 million subscribers in 333 days, I think. Or
less than a year.
days.
Yeah. So it's all about the masses. If the masses like you, the masses will lift you up.
I think it was really great that it's funny that one time I asked you about comments, that Ray has enough supporters where if one person badmouths him on the comment, like, there are other people that just like take this person down with other comments for him.
It's great. He's got a legion. He's got a legion of followers now who will defend him on his channel. Don't you come to our channel trying to be an a-hole, because they will rip you apart. And so that's kind of funny, because our channel, VNR Media, when we tried that out, it was hit or miss. I mean, people were like friendly for the most part, but no one ever defended us when people said shit on our comments. So it's weird seeing people who are like actively engaged, like more than that, looking through the comments and being like, because there are people who ask questions, just random people who ask questions about things, and you have these subscribers who have been subscribed since probably the first 100 subscribers, answering the questions, because they're also professional drywall tapers and hangers. So I don't think I mentioned the topic. It's like a how-to channel. That's the whole concept of the channel.
But even if you do not enjoy doing the DIY, or you don't know anything about drywall, it's still fun to watch.
He's such a charismatic personality where you can just like sit and listen to him for a bit. It's like, oh, this is nice. This is pleasant to my ears.
I love all the jokes that he has.
Oh, yeah, hang around with him for a year and you'll have heard them all about 3 times. So they become less and less funny each time he replays. So literally, he'll be telling jokes, and it's gotten to the point right now where it's in one ear. I don't even realize he's telling a joke. I just continue to work, and it's just like, oh, ha ha, yeah. It's like, oh, I think I heard that one before. But oh my goodness, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And so yeah, that's where that is. I can't wait. Day by day.
I heard you say earlier that you said something like, "Oh, it's a great day. The weather's nice. It's warmer. 12 degrees today."
12 degrees. I know. It's a heat wave, man. It's like, how is the snow not melting at 12 degrees?
I almost didn't leave my house yesterday.
Did you see how cold it was last night with the wind chill?
No.
Without the wind chill, it was -2 in the Chicagoland suburbs, and then with the wind chill, it was -23.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And up in North Dakota, because I love looking at the coldest places in the country, up in, like, Fargo, North Dakota, it was -41 with the wind chill.
Wow.
They said frostbite, hypothermia, and death within 10 minutes if you go out uncovered.
Jeez.
Like, you just freeze to death if you walk outside.
Yeah, I didn't leave my house yesterday until about 2:30 in the afternoon, because I was just afraid. I didn't want to go because it just seemed so cold. And then I walked outside and the sun was out too, and it's like, oh, it's a little better. It's cold, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then I thought to myself too, like, well, I had a feeling that if I didn't use my car at all yesterday, then it wouldn't start today. So I was like, I need an excuse just to start my car and like get it running. Yeah. So I went to the gym and came back, and it was totally fine. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's still cold.
It's still cold, but
I'm looking at the forecast for next week. Like, it'll be 26 degrees. I'm like, nice. It'll feel like spring almost if we've been in these single digits.
Dude.
26 degrees, I can handle that.
You can tell how traumatic this weather is, because this is the third episode in a row that we've talked about weather for more than a couple of minutes.
Yes.
And you can tell, like, it's not just we're talking about weather to talk about weather. This is like,
No,
this is
what's
pain.
on everybody's mind.
This is the definition of pain and tragedy. Is this weather we're experiencing right now? And it's all across the north.
Yeah.
All across the north. It's the jet stream, the Arctic Circle's moving down a little bit in the jet stream, so.
Man. We can come back on weather, but just to switch it up.
No, we can totally move.
The other day, so you see right now I'm smelling my fingers, because the other day I was like, why do my fingers smell weird?
Did you cook onions?
No, almost. Listen, so like last night I think it was last night or the night before, I was like in bed. I'm like, why do my fingers smell weird? And I can't think of it. It's never happened to me when I cook onions. It's never happened to me. No.
How? That's all. It always. Go on. What was it?
Garlic. I figured out it was garlic because I took a garlic clove and I put it into one of those little things that mashes it up.
Oh.
And then I use my fingers to get the little pieces of grit out of it.
And what I was thinking about onions is sautéing onions. I'm talking about like sautéing stuff. Like whenever I sauté anything, my hands reek of whatever it is that I just
saute stuff, but I don't touch it with my bare hands.
I don't touch it with my bare hands. Like, oh, picking it out of the saucer.
And this is like, this would have been on Friday. So this is now 2 days. I don't know how many times I've washed my hands just throughout the course of those days where my fingers still smell. And I'll be like going to bed and I'll have my hands up to my head like this because I'm cold. I'll pull the covers over me. And then I'll be, oh, what the fuck? Like, I'll have a smell of garlic.
Yeah.
And I just...
garlic's bad. Onions, dude, will stay... Because normally it's for a recipe, so like ground beef, I'll be cooking up the ground beef with the onions. But that smell will stay on my hands for probably 2 to 3 days. It doesn't matter how much I wash them or anything like that. It goes into the pores.
I wonder, though, if you can get it out with like that... industrial soap that people use to like get grease.
Goop. It's
off. They got like little
like tree sap and stuff like that. Yeah,
they got like little tiny little gritty things in it.
Maybe I've never tried that before. It's never bothered me that much, but it's always been noticeable. That's why I always try to be careful when I'm cooking to not have the lid off the pan. Because if I'm working over the pan for an extended period of time, it just goes up into the pores and it stays there. So,
do you remember how when we cooked when we were talking one time, we were talking about cooking, and I was like, I hate cooking, and you're like, I love cooking. The other day on Friday, when I was using the garlic, I was making like lamb. I think it was lamb chops, is what it was.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I think I'm kind of having a little fun with this, doing some garlic, throw some rosemary on there, cooking this in some butter because I can.
It's so funny because yesterday I had the exact same experience. I'm like, I fucking hate cooking.
But that's seldom.
Because I was making an omelet, or trying to make an omelet, and I had sauteed mushrooms. I had, but then I tried to throw some tomato in there too, diced up tomato. Well, it turns out when you add tomato in there, there's a little bit of water in the tomatoes that leak into the frickin' eggs. Yeah. And it literally turned it into a pile of slop. Gross. Burned my hand, got stuff everywhere, spent 15 minutes cleaning up afterward, more time cleaning up than I was eating. And here I'm trying to flip it over because I'm trying to make an omelet, so I'm trying to put like cheese in there. But, you know, for me, I always have trouble with eggs of like getting it consistent, so I tend to flip it over and let it cook on this. Try to flip it over, it just falls apart. It's like, I was cursing up a storm.
I was last week I was making pudding just because I could. I had a box of vanilla pudding and I followed the instructions, throw it in there, put in the milk, and it says, whisk it by hand or with a machine for 2 to 3 minutes and just let it sit for 5 minutes and it's good. And I'm whisking this thing by hand and I'm like, after a while I'm like, this thing it's not coagulating. This thing is still like in liquid form. Yeah. Like this thing isn't becoming the
pudding that it's supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, what the hell? So I keep going, and I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I know how milk is. Like, you gotta, really churn it up. So I was like, all right, I bring out the machine, right? And I realize this is still the same machine that I think my parents had gotten for a wedding gift in 1983. this thing looks so old school and it still works. So I use the machine and I'm like, what the hell? It's still not, turning into like a more pudding-like texture. It's still liquid.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? So then I think to myself, oh, well, you know what? I can maybe add some flour. Like you can add flour to anything to like thicken it up. So I add some flour and I see that the flour is like wheat flour. It's not like the bleached white. I'm like, it'll still work. It'll be fine. So I put that in there. And it gets thicker, but it's still not that pudding texture. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay, maybe it needs to like sit in the fridge for a little bit.
Yeah,
so
where you can't figure out that.
I cover it up. I put it in the fridge. And I'm looking back at the instructions and I'm like, how did I mess this up? Okay, mix this with 2 cups of milk, pour in the contents, and just mix. That's it. There's nothing else. And let it sit for 5 minutes after it gets that consistency and you're good to go. So I come back to the refrigerator a few hours later and it's still not like pudding. I'm like, okay, there has to be something up with this. And I take a spoon just to taste it and I know it's like more liquid than it should be. And sure enough, nope, this totally tastes like flour right now. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't feel like pudding. Then I realized where the mistake was made.
Where?
Take a guess.
It was you put in too much milk. It was not supposed to be enough.
No, I did everything correct except this is the only thing I can think of. I drink almond milk. Not regular milk.
Why would you use almond milk? Are you a freaking idiot?
It didn't occur to me.
Oh my god! Of course that's the reason.
I use.
Holy crap! That's like 101 of cooking is you never use anything but regular milk if a recipe calls for milk.
Yeah,
Ever.
It just didn't occur to me.
That's not real milk. That's not actual milk.
I know.
Oh my god! That makes total sense.
It's nut juice is what it is.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way you could have been that stupid.
No, that's what it was.
Wow.
I just didn't think about it.
Really, bro? Do you guys
about it.
only have almond milk
No,
in your house?
I used almond.
But you
drink
had
almond
regular milk in there, so like you picked it out between the two, and you're like,
I drink almond
milk.
milk.
I'm gonna go with almond milk.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you learned something. You can't cook with almond milk.
That's how I screwed it up.
That makes so much sense because I'm like, yeah, no, that's totally, yep, that is absolutely what happened. I can't believe that. I mean, okay. I mean, I guess I've made some pretty
One time, too,
errors
when I was maybe, I can't remember how old I was. I can't remember if I told this to you or not, but I was maybe 10 or 12 or 15. I have no idea. I was making a cake for my mom for her birthday. I used regular milk. I did the eggs. I did everything correct because I love cake and eating cake batter. I love eating cake batter so much. I ate a little too much. So when I took it out of the oven, it was like this hard, like it wasn't even fluffy cake. The cake was maybe about a quarter of the density that it should have been. Or I should say this. I'm sorry. The density of the cake was about 4 times that it should have been, and the height of the cake was about a quarter of what it should have been. So it didn't even come out of the pan. It barely raised up in the pan. It was like this hard substance because I ate so much of it before putting it in the oven.
My goodness. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've messed up when it comes to putting the right amount of like liquid into something to make it the proper, never the type of liquid, but always the size. It's always.
You can always add more. You never want to add. That's what I've realized.
Yeah. No, that's so true. Unless you had almond milk, in which case you're pretty much screwed because you can't undo that. Wow.
Well, then I thought maybe if I put only a cup instead of 2 cups of almond milk.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm not willing to find out. I'll just go with regular milk.
Yeah. No,
Moving forward.
That's a wise decision. So, New Year's resolutions? Anything for the
First of all, here's my problem with the New Year's resolution.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
So there's too much emphasis like you need a new year to start something new. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When you want to start something new, you got to do it that day.
Yes.
New Year's resolution and to resolve something means there was a problem to begin with. So
you don't have any problems.
No. So you need to identify the problem. My thing is, I think there's this perception that that is socially okay and almost expected to break your New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. It's
like you make it and then you just go how long you can. So you go into it thinking, how long can I go until I break this? Oh, it's February. Oh, it's March. Or oh, it's 2 days later. Oh my goodness, haha. When really, if you take it seriously and think about what you want to plan
integrate it into your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you need to also start it about. I mean, you can start it on January 1st, but you really need to start it, when you get the idea, like, I want to change something about it, even if it's July, if you want to change something about yourself. But if you're revving up to it, if you are going to rev up to it, you got to start doing it at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance to start building that habit.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right in just making the decision to make the change. It's like you don't need to wait for a period to be like, I'm going to be a better person in some regard or another. You just say, okay, like when New Year's comes around, it'd be like, oh, okay, like this is something I can change here now. Because New Year's resolutions, who remembers their New Year's resolution from the previous year?
I do. Mine was not to drink alcohol for 6 months.
Yeah, yours is a little different. You're a little more, and that's, again, you don't have a lot of, like, internal issues when it comes to, like, you're a pretty stable, normal person who lives a pretty, like, healthy and, what do you call it?
Non-self-destructive life.
Non-self-destructive life. And honestly, 90% of people live some sort of destruction in their life on a regular basis. I think that you're relatively destruction-free. I don't think that there's anything that really... So, I mean, for you, like a New Year's resolution, I feel like is more of a fun game than like a fixing something that's broken kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because with the not drinking thing, it was just like, oh, this is a challenge. Like, this will be fun kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, to see if I can do it.
But now I got my planner, the same one that I got you that I was going to give Neil but decided not to because he bailed on us when we were going to hang out one time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it more seriously and, like, write things down that I want to do in, like, by the end of January, by the end of March, by the end of June, and then, like, for a year. So I think I'm going to take it a little more. I think I'm going to take it more seriously.
It's not a bad idea. I might actually do that also. But yeah, I mean, I'm of the same mindset with New Year's resolutions that they're meaningless unless you've made that decision to change something. But that decision is going to come when it comes. It's not going to.
And it could be little. It could be like I'm going to make my bed every morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it could be little things.
But it's got to be something that you...
I already make my bed every morning. But go ahead.
I know. Maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution. Make my bed every morning. Yeah. No, but you got to... I mean, it has to be something that's sort of on your mind on a constant basis. You make it a priority. So that's why... I don't know. I mean, New Year's resolutions like working out and stuff like that. Just... I mean, that's where gyms get most of their membership dues, is people saying they're going to work out and then never using their membership again come February.
Yeah.
Which is why I never get a gym membership. I'll run in this frickin' weather if I have to.
Yeah.
No need to pay for a space.
But you need to be specific, not just like, I'm going to start working out. Like, okay, so then what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to work out. I'm going to exercise 3 times per week. Okay, if you have the same schedule every day or whatever, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you got to like plan it out and be detail-oriented, not just like, I'm going to work out. And then maybe it happens and maybe it doesn't.
So... I guess, because we talked a little bit last episode about what we're looking forward to in 2018 for sure, but I mean it's New Year's Eve. We're on the eve of ending 2017. What's your takeaway from 2017? It can be personal, it can be global.
Oh,
it can be,
man!
Like what are things that come to your mind when you think 2017 and you're heading into 2018? It's like what did 2017 stand for?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2017. Let's see. I guess. Without realizing it, there was the dissipation of the Straight Up channel that ended in about March. Year? But we ended on a real high note with, I can't believe we were able to interview Elliot Hulse and Evan Carmichael.
Yes.
So that was pretty big.
That was special.
There was I guess. I'll say, I was still doing the Second City stuff. I started doing improv in January.
Yeah, that's right, because we had all met together.
That's really when I did this whole year was all Second City, because I did one class in 2016 for the last term. That was acting 1. That was the only thing I did. And then I took like act, and then 2 through 4 in the lab and all the improv classes and all this other stuff. Okay, so
you started that in 2016 though. So
yeah.
It wasn't a 2017 start. But
my journey, we were 95% of it was 2017.
Because I bet in January you did not think that you were going to be like doing extra work for movies and TV shows.
No,
and stuff like
that stuff was on like on the horizon. Like, okay,
it's in the
I'm like
future
just
kind of
starting
thing.
to like get this stuff under my belt.
And now it's in the past kind of thing.
I did extra. My very first time I did extra work was in March. It was March 6th, I think, on Empire.
Yeah.
So, okay, so recap. Okay, now I was having some trouble with difficulty. Okay, so VNR Media coming to an end. Continuing journey at Second City, acting and improv, and doing extra work, starting this podcast. What else was there? I had some more time this summer. I was able to enjoy my summer a little bit more. I went to the pool on several occasions. And I don't know what else. I do not recall.
Does that correlate in any way with anything?
Okay. I think it was just. I think this year just made me feel a lot more confident in my trajectory in life.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I kind of started feeling like in limbo. And I like didn't really know what to do.
You wanted to pick up and move to Cali,
or where to
just be like, I'm moving to Cali. We'll make it work.
But I realized I told you one time that like that looking back, that was me wanting to like escape realities that I was too afraid to face. When what would have happened was anything else. It just would have my state of mind being in limbo would have just followed me there. But at least, with not moving there, I did the classes at Second City, started the podcast. So now I've kind of created a solid foundation for what I've done and what I want to do moving into this new decade of entering my 30s.
Well, by staying in Chicago, you were able to keep your support network.
Yes.
And you were also able to build connections into the world that you want to enter into, at the same time.
I learned a crap ton about this industry, about the film and TV, entertainment industry.
I mean, your knowledge, I am just blown away by.
So now I feel like if I went to California, I feel properly equipped.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things where you could totally. I mean, I think you'd be fine moving to California.
Yeah.
Now. I mean, you even went there to shoot a YouTube video.
Yeah, I was there on. I went there in July. That was my.
That cop show or whatever.
Yeah, Southland Bounty Hunters.
Yeah.
And yeah,
my mom found that hilarious. By the way.
My hair was really long.
Yeah,
and then like a week later, I got it cut a few inches. But I wanted to run away. I remember we did a podcast episode about this. I wanted to run away, but I was the fifth episode they were shooting that day. And they told me later, like, yeah, dude, everyone else ran. We were just so tired. That's why we just ran up on you right away and, like, tried to put you in handcuffs. Mm-hmm. But that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Man, so, wow. That really was. So it was a year of building for you.
Yes, a year of building. Yes. Wow. What about for yourself?
Mine was the year of reckoning.
The year of reckoning, that's right.
It's so true. So many different things happened. I mean, the biggest thing probably was winning the credit card debt lawsuit.
That was awesome.
I mean, for that, and I got a letter a couple of weeks ago saying that they've notified credit reports. I no longer owe that money, so it's totally gone from my reports. Everything's satisfied, and now it's just a couple more. But it's one of those things where now that I've been through the process, it's a little more manageable. But so much anxiety this year, so much coming to terms.
Okay, but how much anxiety did you suffer between January and, would you say a bulk of the
anxiety?
All
of the anxiety.
Okay.
I aged like 17 years.
But would you say the anxiety stemmed from the credit card thing, or was it several different things?
It was several different things. It was trying to put my life back together, figuring out what I was going to do with the rest of my life, where I was going to go, just trying to find hope in all of this despair, because for the first time, it was, I'd been in a recovery program for a year up until that point. And so 2017, this was year number 2 of being in a recovery program. And I didn't really listen. I didn't really absorb year 1 in the program, what people were saying, the experiences, what it means to have a recovery program, what it means to be living a better and healthy life. And this past year, I've had so many points of revelation. But that's only because I've been willing to face my own demons and confront them. I can always do a better job with honesty towards myself, for sure. But I learned how to be honest with myself in a real way, in a real healthy way this year.
When did you feel alleviated when you realized all the anxiety or a bulk of it had passed you? Like, was it maybe again, I keep going back to the credit thing because that was a huge win. Was it like that? When was it? At what point were you able to sigh and just realize you didn't have that huge burden of just negativity?
All of these things. Because I mean, I also went off probation this year too.
That's
September.
right. That's right.
That was also anxiety inducing because I had to go before the judge again, and so that was in September, and then the lawsuit was like a month later. So I mean, a lot of the anxiety was sort of lingering for the entire year, and even after I won that court case, I left and it hadn't hit me because it was so abrupt. I mean, if you remember, it was just okay. It's like the attorney for the fucking credit card industry is like, we would like to withdraw this complaint. Like,
my favorite is when the other people waiting their turn were like, there's whispers like, oh, did he wait, what?
He just won? And so it's like, congratulations. Yeah, there was lots of thumbs up leaving. So, I mean, that was a cool experience, but I definitely didn't feel the release of stress because I'm like, there's no way it can be that simple, right? There's got to be they've got to be pulling a fast one or something. But I walk out of there, and honestly, it probably wasn't until maybe a month or two ago that I started really feeling optimistic about life. So I think really probably around the time that getting 3,000 subscribers by the end of this year on the Drywall Doctor, once that looked like it was going to happen maybe a month and a half ago, was when I really started being like, okay, it's so interesting to me, and not to be like superstitious or too evangelical about the situation, but it's like I found positive coincidences happen when you're living a better life, and negative coincidences tend to happen when you're not really taking care of yourself or other people around you. And for me, I attribute that as to my faith, and it's sort of reassured me that okay, I found somebody in Ray who's given me so much more than work, so much more than wisdom and stuff like that, but really a shining example of like what a fully recovered life can look like. And just to sort of feed off of that energy, it's contagious. Mm-hmm. You're around positive people, and it just, it goes in. But more than that, the biggest thing I learned this year, the biggest takeaway that I had, is the fact that I believe you can only control yourself. Like, fundamentally, that's what I always go back to when I feel stress or anxiety or stuff like that. I try to remember, what did I learn in 2017? It's that you can only control yourself, right? You can. And what does that actually mean? Like, it took, I mean, that makes sense. That would have made sense to me before. But to actually understand what living a life where you're only focused on controlling yourself means, you can let go of anger. Like, I mean, I was telling you, like, you were getting me riled up before we started recording the live stream today. It's like, oh, the politics part, like, because I had mentioned, like, Ray's a Trump supporter. Okay, like, cool. And then you start talking about just all these, like, can you believe, net neutrality, like, our internet costs are going to go up and slower internet Wi-Fi?
No, this is what happened. But you're like, somehow we started talking a little about the net neutrality because you were talking about how the internet speed was slow, and then you had mentioned something like, oh yeah, and I think these guys are, hardcore Trump supporters, which was you trying to tell me, so don't rock the boat. And then I said, hey, maybe I'll just throw out there, hey guys, I think the internet's slow because of this net neutrality thing. And then you were like, what the hell?
Well, don't forget, before you said that, you said, I'm so excited to vote in 2020. You said that. I don't know if you remember saying that.
I do remember that.
You remember saying that?
I remember saying that. Yeah,
you remember everything.
Because we were talking about
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah. You said you're so excited to vote for 2020. So I mean, that was like, but yeah. So, but I'm like, and what did I say afterwards? I said something to the extent of like, it doesn't matter. Like,
it doesn't
politics
matter.
Doesn't matter. It only distracts. Like,
like
don't say it. But,
because
the point I was trying to convey is like, we can't control that. Like, we can't control political discourse or anything like that. What we can control is the interpersonal relationship.
You said this is a joyous moment. Just don't ruin let it be. Yeah, just don't ruin it.
Yeah. That's right.
I really. Oh man, that would have been so funny if I just dropped that little
nugget
and seeing what happened. But yeah, you can only control yourself.
Yeah, and so I mean, really allowing, because really, I did feel halfway through this year just a release in my personal burdens that I felt of holding on to other, like the fact that I just couldn't believe that Ray had a Trump sign out in front of his yard like 6 months after the election, and that
6 months after the election,
and it's like, and genuinely the conversations that we had have all centered around, well, I mean, basically, I believe Fox News and everything else is fake news, and you can't convince somebody like that otherwise. And I felt really frustrated because I'm like, how you have such a good recovery program? How can you believe lies and deception and go counter to everything your recovery program teaches? That is the definition of what being a Trump supporter is all about. How can you live like that? And I was like, pulling out my hand, like screaming into pillows. Not really, but that was sort of like the internal like stress that I felt, is like, I'm building up my arguments. Like, how can I communicate this in a way that'll like show him he's a fucking idiot when it comes to his political beliefs? And I came to that point in like June or something like that, where it's like it just hit me, and I was talking with my mom actually, and it's like,
oh my goodness,
we can only control ourselves, and that's when I realized, listen, like, he's doing the best that he can. He's trying to live an intentional life. He's only controlling himself. Yeah, he may be a moron when it comes to understanding cultural and social issues, and he'll never accept or acknowledge that. He'll assume that he's an informed voter. That's fine. Like, whatever. We're not running a politics channel. We can survive that. But, like, just to be like, he's trying to be a good person, and it doesn't matter how ignorant his political beliefs are, that as long as he's trying to be a good person and loving people around him.
You can believe that triceratops are being hunted and killed, and if you're a good person...
By Jesus! Jesus with his fishing lure.
If you're a good person, you're cool in my book.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus hunting dinosaurs. No,
gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
So funny.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
How do we even start talking about all that?
New Year's, man. Our takeaway from 2017.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
But also in the year of the reckoning, as mine it was, I saw it in culture and society all around us. I mean, this year, we really had to come to terms with our misbehavior as a culture. You look at the Me Too movement. You look at all these racist neo-Nazis, killing people in Charleston and all the other places.
Yeah.
You look at... immigration and the refugee crisis in other countries, us having to deal with a government now that says we don't want any foreigners, basically. And it's like, we as a country, us, like regular citizens in the middle of the road who just want to like get along with everyone and have a happy life, right? All of us realized, well, crap. I mean, we've been sitting on the sideline for so long. You said you were looking forward to voting in 2020. You would have never said that if Hillary Clinton was elected in 2016.
No.
I guarantee it.
Well, I should say this.
Or maybe to vote against her. I wish I had voted for Trump.
I do want to clarify. I did vote in this last election. Yeah. I'm just more excited to vote for the next election.
Yeah, and I think that degree of excitement is, I think, the coming of reckoning of our culture. It's like, what do we stand for as Americans? And I think 51% of Americans can agree on loving your neighbor and like loving your neighbor as yourself. Like, fundamentally, I think that as an American society, we can all come to that agreement on some level. And if just 50% plus one stand up and say that, then, positive, good things will happen. You see women, getting up and saying, we are going to be representatives of your community now. We have equal representation. We want to, reflect that in our elected officials. So, it's interesting. I think that there's, probably a little bit more to come, but this really was the buildup of the year of the reckoning, and I think that we're going to have some whiplash into the early 2018s. Mm-hmm. Still, I'm guessing like Robert Mueller's going to come down with his indictments and stuff in the coming months. So we're going to still see the year of the reckoning continue into 2018 a little bit. But I think that as was reflected in my own life, I felt like it was sort of fitting culturally that we were going through this period of people people who were perceived to be like good, upstanding people turn out to be just utter sleazebags or just doing wrong things. And sometimes they knew that they were doing bad things, and sometimes they didn't. But all the same, if you're doing a bad thing, you have to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
And I think that was an interesting sort of parallel that I was walking on my own recovery program this year. But man, so much it's been a long fucking year, dude. 2017 was the longest year.
Yeah, I just like all my time. I just spent so much time at Second City. The whole year just like went by really fast for me.
Yeah, because you had a lot of positive things going on.
Yeah.
I mean, even 2016
I did have a lot of positive
even
things
2016
going on.
wasn't as long as 2017 was. Like, even when I, got convicted and all that and entered a recovery program and stuff like that, it was kind of new. I was still gambling up until, like, January, early
10th?
January
13th?
January 10th is my clean date. And so, I mean, I was still in that, like, surreal world of, like, this permanent escape from reality was still like, well, what do I do without this permanent escape from reality? I'm sort of like all over the place kind of thing. Trump gets elected in 2016. That's like a mind fuck. But I mean, leading up to that year, we're all assuming Hillary Clinton, we're all turning the corner where it's going to be a positive. A woman's going to lead the free world for the first time, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone was feeling like, okay, like things are looking up. Like Russia may be trying to hack our elections, but that's cool. Like we're economy is doing the best it had in years. And then 2017 comes around. It's just like, fuck. We have a dirty fucking closet.
Yeah.
That needs to be cleaned. And we cleaned the shit out of that closet this year. Holy cow. Yeah. So as man,
fucking closet.
Dude.
This closet needs to be cleaned.
I'm feeling joy and hope in a way that 2017 could not have provided.
I feel the same about 2018. Very hopeful. I'm very excited that I have no idea what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be good.
I have no idea what's going to happen either. I mean, the drywall doctor may not even exist in a year, but I don't know. Like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I don't know what, but
Yeah.
I feel like the excitement and the anticipation of what's to come is yeah. So do you have any plans for tonight, New Year's Eve?
I have plans that I have not solidified so that I'm not reprimanded if I choose not to go out. Right now I'm leaning towards not going out because I do not feel like spending the night I do not feel like spending the night somewhere that is not my home.
Would it be in Chicago? Yeah.
Yeah. I also do not want to drive out there. And
you'd be
the only reason I would drive is so that I could drive back, right? So that I don't have to spend the night at someone's couch. And I could take the train, but the train requires me to be back at Ogilvy by 12:40, which completely
not on New Year's. Yeah, absolutely.
The reason to even go out in the first place.
Yeah, and you.
But the reason for all this, I would drive if it was 25 or 30 degrees outside.
You should never drive on New Year's Eve, dude. It's the deadliest night of the year. New Year's Eve is the deadliest night of the year.
Oh.
You do not want to be out on New Year's Eve. Absolutely not. Like, that is the number one thing that I learned.
I don't drink very much.
It's not you. It's everyone else is drunk on the road.
Yeah, you're right.
There's, but that's like the 101 thing that I've heard, I can't count how many times, is you never drive on New Year's Eve. Like, you avoid it like the plague.
Really?
Never try to drive on New Year's Eve.
Interesting.
I mean, until about 8 o'clock. Like, but from 8 o'clock through the next morning, even in the next morning, because everyone's going to wake up hungover and get on the road drunk. Mm-hmm. That's the cops' number one, like, holiday.
Interesting. So, I was not aware. I guess I just didn't realize that.
Yeah, I can't believe you hadn't realized that.
It just never occurred to me because I don't. All the other New Year's Eves, I'm not like driving. I did last year.
Well, you think about it this way: it's universally celebrated by everyone. everyone brings in the new year. It's not like Christmas. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not like Thanksgiving. It's not like, I mean, it's not like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
It is the only universally
It's a
celebrated.
global event.
It's the only universally, except for in China, I think, because they got their own calendar, right? And
North Korea.
and Israel, yeah. Israel's got the Jewish calendar, but yeah, you never want to drive on New Year's Eve.
Good to
ever.
know.
So,
But yeah, my plans are to not really do anything. And the only reason for that is because it's super cold outside, and I don't care to
understandable.
be out with it being super cold.
Is it a college party or is it a
No,
high
so
school
I got
or-
a few things. I got like 3 or 4 things I could do, but I don't want to be freezing my ass off is the thing. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And the one
I've had a couple of New Years where it's been like
know
in
what I'm
Minnesota, like sub-zero, and I'm just like, why are we outside right now? Like, why are we walking?
And I know what's going to happen is I'm going to go from one place to another, spend a bunch of money on Ubers going from one place to another,
Yep.
freezing my ass off in the
and
process.
can't imagine the rates for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so
like,
it's just like, if I lived downtown, for sure I would go out, but like, I don't think so. I'm good.
yeah. But that could change, I'm sure.
I went to
as
bed
the
last
hour-
night at 9 o'clock.
I went to bed at like 10,
So,
10:30, so it's like...
I think what I'm going to do tonight is also, again, go to bed at like 9 or 10. I remember that one Simpsons episode where there's fireworks for the new year, and then Flanders like wakes up and mails his taxes. Uses the fireworks as his like alarm and wakes up and mails his taxes at
that's
midnight or
awesome. You're
something
totally
like
a
that.
Flanders, dude. You are totally a Flanders. I
I just
never
need
actually realized that.
I just
You
need
need
a
a stash. You get
mustache.
a pretty cool stash.
What about you?
I'm going to bed early.
Nice.
I'm not this year. I don't think there's not any particular like
Reason to be going
to
out.
celebrate. I mean, and it's been a busy last couple of days setting all this stuff up. I'm kind of tired.
My
but-
main thing is I don't want tonight to slow me down for tomorrow.
Yes.
I don't
'cause
want to stay out late and wake up at like 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I'm thinking going into bed at like 10
You
o'clock,
know?
waking up at 6, and just starting the new
Yep.
January 1st off
Yep.
in the best way possible. Wake up early, have a nice cup of coffee, just, maybe read something, like
Yeah.
read a book. Because I've been actually thinking about that more and more since we've talked about that on
Dude, you
a couple
gotta
episodes
pick
ago.
up Walden. Henry David Thoreau's Walden. I read some more this morning,
I
and
have a list of books
it was
I
just
gotta
like,
get through
wow,
first.
dude. But you'll just
$40 million
appreciate-
Slave is on my list.
You'll be appreciative of just he's an artist, dude. He's a fucking artist, and I just
Yeah.
can't. It's just so magical the way he writes. What is it? $40 million Slave?
That's the one that Neil gave me like a year and a half ago to read, and I haven't gotten around to
really?
it yet. Yeah, so I have a list of, I think, 6 books in my queue, none of which I got to this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually thinking that might be a nice way to like end the nights is like doing a half hour, 45 minutes of reading, something like that, because less LED lights and stuff like
Yeah.
that help calm the system, and that's what my apps are recommending too. Turn off your devices and things, which it's standard like health practice for the less artificial light that you have, the better sleep you're gonna get at night. So yeah, but hey, there's nothing wrong with partying on New Year's Eve, man. Like, to all those people out there that are celebrating it, good for them. Just don't drive.
Yeah,
Don't drive.
I'll probably have a few glasses of wine. I think what I'll do is I have a bottle of wine. I think I'll drink the whole bottle over the course of a couple hours, and then that way I'm done with the bottle by like 8 or 9. Hydrate and just go to bed.
Yeah. What is it? Did you know that a glass of wine is like a regular like table glass of wine is half a bottle? One was like the red wine. The red wine.
Oh, like if you put it in a big old.
If you filled it up to the top.
Oh, the whole glass
of the actual table glass for red wine, it's a full half bottle of wine.
Yeah, I think I did know that. I didn't actually. That's a lie. I did not know that, but I could find that believable because a bottle of wine only has about 4 glasses, and you only fill the glasses. If you have it like with a stem.
Yes,
about
exactly.
halfway.
So I think I learned that. I learned that a couple of weeks ago on NPR.
My buddy Chris, this dude fills up his wine glasses like grape juice.
Oh my goodness!
Like he fills it up to the top.
Yeah.
And he'll just drink it like juice. Also.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't like
he
savor
drinks.
it or
Yeah,
anything?
but I can't tell if. See, I've noticed this when we're in groups. So I'm sure he has like more etiquette when he's out with his girlfriend or whatever. But like, I noticed this when we were when we lived together and we'd drink wine on like Monday nights. Sometimes we'd drink wine, eat cheese and crackers, and watch like a scary movie. But we're like trying to get a little drunk. And this is in our mid to early 20s. And when we were out one time a few months ago, or we were out with our other friends from college, and like we were trying to do some drinking. So that too. But it was just really funny to notice that because he drank. Him and I split a bottle, and he easily drank 80 to 85% of the bottle.
Oh, he was the friend who you were talking about that other time. Yep, I do remember that. It was like episode 38 or something like that.
Yeah, he was the one that I might try and see tonight. But I'm like, I can see him in a couple weeks. It's his birthday in a couple weeks, so I can just see him then.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't. I don't really have anything else.
Cool. Well, neither do I. So see you in the new year.
Yeah. Fuck you, 2017.
I thought you were gonna say "fuck you, Victor." No. For a split second, I thought that was directed at me.
No, because I was looking right in your eyes.
Because you were looking right at me.
Fuck you, 2017.
See you in the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.